Hello students, in present video I am going to explain one problem from journal topic. I am taking the question from Telangana State Telugu Academy Inter First Year Accountancy Textbook. But this video is useful to all commerce students who want to know about journal topic. So in question he gives one date, some sentence and amount. So, and he asks us to write journal entries from this information. Here, this sentence is known as monetary business transaction. This is one transaction. This transaction is related with the business, and the value of this business transaction can be expressed in terms of rupees. Therefore, this business transaction is known as monetary business transaction. So, one by one in journal book we have to write the journal entries for that. See the transaction. On 1st January 2018, Anil started business with cash 75,000. Here only one person is going to start the business. Means this business comes under sole proprietorship. Anil is a sole proprietor, owner of the firm. And while writing the journal entries, you have to assume that you are working as an accountant in Anil's firm. Firm means his organization, his business unit. Therefore, all business transactions we have to think from firm's point of view, and we should record them in journal book. Let us see how to record this transaction in journal book. Anil is bringing 75,000 rupees cash into the firm. This is the transaction. Now, in every monetary business transaction, there will be minimum 2 accounts. First step in writing journal entry is those 2 accounts we have to identify. Minimum 2 accounts. Maximum there is no limit. A transaction may contain even 10 accounts also. How to identify the accounts? What is coming to us? Cash. Therefore, cash account is one account. A by C is the symbol of account. Similarly, who is bringing this cash? Anil. So, Anil account is another account. This business transaction contains 2 accounts, cash account, Anil account. So, identification of accounts step is completed. Second step is grouping. Means what? These 2 accounts may be personal accounts, real accounts or nominal accounts. So account, we prepare account in ledger book. After journal I will take ledger lesson. There I will explain exactly what is an account. For journal chapter, what you should remember is the classification of account. Account is divided into 3 types: personal accounts, real accounts and nominal accounts. What is personal account? If any account is opened with a person name, for example Rama account. Here Rama is one person, no? Therefore Rama account comes under a personal account. Or a firm name. For example, Reliance Limited account. Here Reliance Limited is not person name, but it is one firm name, one organization name. Therefore, that account also comes under personal account. And if any account is opened with one asset name, that account is known as real account. For example, machinery account. Here machinery is what? One asset. Furniture account, building account, land account, goodwill account, patent account, copyright account, leasehold property account. All these accounts are examples for real account. And if any account is opened with one expenditure name, for example salaries account, to the firm, salary is one expenditure, no? Because they have to pay salary to the employees, so salary account. If any account is opened with a loss name or income name, gain name, that account is known as nominal account. Now in second step, we should do grouping. Means what? Cash account is a personal account, real account or nominal account, that we should identify. Cash means what? It is one asset, no? So with the asset name we opened this account, therefore cash account is a real account. Similarly, Anil account, Anil, one person name, no? With the person name if you open any account, which account that is? Personal account. So Anil account is a personal account. Second step is completed, grouping. Now final step for writing journal entry is applying the double entry principles. For personal account, double entry principle is debit the receiver, credit the giver. For real account, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. For nominal account, debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. These principles now we have to apply. First account, cash account. Real account principle, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Now think from firm's point of view, cash is coming or going? Coming. So which line is applicable? Debit what comes in, first line is applicable. Therefore cash account we have to debit. DR is a symbol for debit. Similarly, personal account rule, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Means if Anil is a receiver, we should debit Anil account. If Anil is a giver, we should credit Anil account. Observe here, Anil is giving 75,000 rupees cash to the firm. So Anil is a giver, therefore we should credit. CR is a symbol for credit. Anil is owner, no? In accounts we should not write owner's name, because today you are the owner. Tomorrow you may sell the business to other person, he becomes the owner. So instead of writing owner names, we should write other words. And remember, if owner name comes in credit, then instead of writing owner's name, we should write capital word. Okay? Therefore, final journal entry is what? While telling the journal entry, first you have to tell the debit account name, then you have to tell the credit account name. So journal entry is cash account debtor to capital account. And how to write this journal entry? In journal, in date column write down the transaction date, cash account debtor. Debtor means don't write the full spelling, only DR. And in the same line we should not write this. Credit account name always you have to write in the next line. That too, leave minimum 2 letters, then write down TO2. These 2 indicates that capital account is credited. For debit account we are writing debit symbol DR. But for credit account, don't write credit symbol CR. We should write TO2. So to capital account. Now how much cash is coming? 75,000. In debit column write down that amount opposite to cash account. Similarly, how much worth the capital we have? As 75,000 is brought into the business, capital of the firm is 75,000. Therefore opposite to capital, Capital account is credited now. Therefore, in credit column, write down 75,000. And in brackets, you have to write the narration, because you and me are commerce students. So by seeing this entry, we will understand what happened. But your owner is not from commerce background. He cannot understand these two words, no? If you give one explanation of this transaction, by reading this explanation, non-commerce people will come to understand what exactly happened here. What happened? Being business is started. Here being means because. We are writing this entry because business is started by the owner. Okay. Now after writing this narration, you have to draw a line from here to here. Okay. So this is called journal entry. In the form of journal entries, we have to record monetary business transactions in journal book. Now let us see the second transaction. Second transaction date is 2nd. Transaction is cash sales 10,000. Don't think that firm sold cash. We never sell cash, no. We sell products, no. So regarding sales, you have to remember one important point. That is, firm regularly sells goods and rarely sells fixed assets. For example, take one stationery shop. Stationery shop is one firm. Okay. Regularly what they sell? Stationery items, books, pencils, pens. These are known as goods. And rarely this stationery shop owner sells fixed assets. Fixed assets means what? If any article, if any product is used to run the business, it is called fixed asset. If any asset is useful for more than 1 year period, it is known as fixed asset. Goods is a selling item, no. We don't keep that item with us for a long period. So within 3 months, within 10 days, we are going to dispose that item. Goods are not used for a long period. Here long period means more than 1 year. So goods come under current asset. But machinery, furniture, building, land, vehicles, all these products are useful to run the business, and the purpose of buying these products is not to sell them for profit. The purpose is to use them to continue the business, and we use them for a long period. We purchased one machine. Machinery life is 10 years. So 10 years we try to use it, and we want to manufacture products. So machinery comes under a fixed asset. And rarely stationery shop owner sells fixed assets. For example, he is using one fan. Fan is totally damaged. Then he replaced that damaged piece with one new fan. Here fan comes under furniture, fixed asset, because he uses fan for more than 1 year, and in stationery shop we are not going to sell fans. Therefore fan is not for resale purpose, no. It doesn't come under good. It is a fixed asset. When this damaged fan is replaced with a new one, do we throw this damaged fan in dustbin? No, because it is made with some iron, no. So we sell that on scrap basis. Therefore regularly we sell goods, rarely we sell fixed assets. So remember, if there is no proper information regarding the product which they are selling, you have to assume that firm is selling goods. If fixed asset is sold, clearly he mentions that in the question. sold machinery 10,000, sold furniture 2,000. As no fixed asset name is given here, we should understand that firm sold goods. Okay, then these sales are of again two types: cash sales, credit sale. Cash sale means what? I am running one shop. Today I sold goods to customer. I have given the goods to him and immediately I have taken money from him. This is known as cash sale. And assume that I know him very well. He is familiar to me. He told that today I will purchase a product, but in next month I will pay the money. If I refuse for that, he may go to my competitor shop. I don't want to lose my valuable customer. So I have accepted to offer credit facility. Here today I am giving product, but money is not coming today. It will come in future. So today I should record this as a credit sale because money is not coming now. Thus sales may be of two types: cash sale and credit sale. And here how you have to decide? If it is a cash sale, he need not to give the person name, customer name is not required, because I gave product to you, you gave money to me, so I need not to remember your name. Person name is not required. Suppose it is credit sale, then compulsory in question he gives a customer's name also. Sold goods to Kiran. Why customer name Kiran is given in the question? Because Kiran name we should remember. In future we have to collect the money from him, no. So if person name is given along with the sales transaction, understand that it is a credit transaction. If person name is not given, it is a cash transaction. So sales are of four types: goods sold for cash, goods sold on credit, fixed asset sold for cash, third, fixed asset sold on credit, fourth. So four type of sales will be there, and out of them any one comes in the public examination. So when sales transaction is given to you, don't blindly frame the entry. First observe what they are selling, how they are selling, then only think about the journal entry. Clear? So first what we should observe? What they are selling. Any fixed asset name is there? Building, machinery? No. Therefore our assumption is goods are sold. Next, how they are selling? Customer name is given? No. We need not to remember the customer name. Means what? We sold those goods for cash. So it is a cash transaction. Then write down the entry. You know the steps. First step is, this is one monetary business transaction. We should identify minimum two accounts. Think from firm's point of view. What happened here? We sold goods to customer. Customer name is not available now. Therefore I wrote customer word. So from the firm, what are going? Goods. And this is cash sale. We sold for cash, means immediately customer paid money to us. So what is coming from customer? Cash. Goods are going, cash is coming. Understand the transaction first. That is first step. There are two accounts: cash account, goods account. Now second step is grouping. Three accounts are there. We should identify whether this cash account comes under personal account group or real account group or nominal account group. Cash is asset, no? All assets come under real accounts. So cash account is a real account. And goods. For stationery shop owner, these stationery items are assets only, no? Not fixed assets. They are current assets. But assets only, no? So all assets come under real account. So goods account is a real account. Both are real accounts. In our first transaction, cash account real account, Anil account personal account. But in second transaction, cash account, goods account, both are real accounts. Okay. Now for these two accounts, real account rule only we should apply. What is real account rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Think from firm's point of view always. So what is coming to the firm? Cash. Therefore, cash account we should debit. What is going from us? Goods. According to real account rule, we should credit goods account. Now remember one point. This goods account comes in four situations. When we sell goods, goods are coming. When we purchase goods, goods come. We purchased once, now we are returning those goods. Then also goods word comes. We sold to customer once, now customer is returning. Then also goods come. So in four events, goods account comes. If you simply leave like this, goods account, then there is no clarity. This is purchase transaction related goods or sales transaction related goods or purchase return transaction related goods. No clarity. So what we should do, that the transaction we should enter here instead of writing goods word. What is the transaction here? It is a sales transaction, no? Therefore, instead of writing this goods word, write down sales word. So what is the final entry? Cash account debtor to sales account. Same point we can explain in another manner also. What is that? Totally forget about this goods word. Two accounts. First account is what? Cash is coming. So cash account. Another account is sales account. Because we are selling. Sales. If you sell, money comes. Means sale is one income. Income comes under nominal account now. What is nominal account rule? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. As a sales account is an income account, this account should be credited. So directly cash account debtor to sales account comes. So in two ways you can analyze. As goods are going, as per real account rule, we should credit goods account. Since we should not write a goods word, instead of writing goods word, we are writing sales word. This is one analysis. Another analysis, we sold goods. Sale is income. As per nominal account, incomes are to be credited. That is why we are directly crediting sales account. In any manner you can analyze. Finally, the result is same, no? So no problem. Final entry is cash account debtor to sales account. In date column, write down the transaction date, second date. Now narration is what? Being goods are sold for cash. Now let us move to next transaction. Third transaction date is 5th. On that day, transaction is goods purchased for cash 12,000 rupees. This is purchase transaction. Like sales, in case of purchase also, you should remember some important points. Firm generally purchases goods, rarely purchases fixed asset. So, if no information is given in the question, our assumption is goods are purchased. Take the same example, stationery shop. Regularly, that shopkeeper purchases stationery items because regularly he is selling those items to customers, and rarely he purchases fixed assets, fan, table, chair. Rarely he purchases. If fixed asset is purchased, clearly it is mentioned in the question. For example, purchased machinery or purchased furniture from Govind. Thus, if a fixed asset name is clearly stated, then understand that firm purchased a fixed asset in the transaction. If no information is given, then our assumption is goods are purchased. But here clearly is giving that goods are purchased, information is available. Then next case is these goods may be purchased for cash or on credit. Cash purchase means what? Today we are buying goods from suppliers and today itself we are paying money to him. Credit purchase means today we are buying goods from supplier and we requested for credit facility. In future we are going to settle our account. So today we should record it as credit purchases. And in case of sales, in case of purchases, remember one more point, that is sales through check, purchases through check. We know about cash sale, credit sale. Suppose we sold goods to customer and customer has given check to us. How to treat it? Cash sale or credit sale or check sale? There is no check sale concept. When we receive check from customer, take it as cash sale, because anyhow we are going to encash that check, no? Similarly, when we issue check to supplier, take it as cash purchases. Okay? Now, observe the transaction. Goods purchased for cash. Person name is not given. When person name is not given, when supplier name is not available, treat it as cash purchases. Because in case of cash purchase only, we need not to remember the supplier's name. If supplier's name is given, means we should remember the supplier's name. We should record that name in our books. When we give importance to supplier's name, when we are liable to him, when transaction is not yet completed, when we have to pay amount to him in future. Therefore, if supplier name is given in the transaction, in purchase transaction, then it gives the meaning that it is a credit purchase. Now, supplier name is not available, so it is a cash transaction. Even that information also clearly he is giving. So goods are purchased for cash. Goods are purchased for cash. There are four types of purchases, no? Goods purchased for cash. 1. Purchase of goods on credit. Second transaction. Purchase of fixed asset for cash. Third transaction. Purchase of fixed asset on credit. Fourth transaction. Like sales, purchases are also 4. Whenever purchase transaction is given, don't blindly write down the entry. Observe these 2 points. What they are buying, how they are buying. Then only start writing the entry. Now, for this transaction, we should write the journal entry. First step is identify the minimum 2 accounts. Here, from supplier, we purchased goods. So, you have to think from firm's point of view always. So, goods are coming. Therefore, goods account is 1 account. And this is cash purchase. So, immediately we paid cash. Cash is going. Cash account is another account. Second step, grouping. Goods, cash, both are assets. Assets come under real account. So both are real accounts. Third step, apply the double entry rules. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Goods are coming, so debit goods account. Cash is going, credit cash account. Now if goods are coming in credit side, we should write sales, no? When goods come on debit side, we should write purchases word, because it is a purchase transaction. So final entry is purchases account debtor to cash account. In another manner also we can analyze this. We purchased goods from supplier. To the firm, purchase is one expenditure, because when you buy you have to pay money, no? Expenses come under nominal account. As per nominal account rule, we should debit expenses. That is why we are debiting purchases account. Entry is purchases account debtor to cash account. Narration being goods are purchased for cash. Seventh date, goods sold on credit to Rahim, 20,000 rupees. Here again sales transaction is giving. So first what you should observe, what we sold, goods or fixed asset. Clearly he has given goods are sold. Then second point, we sold those goods for cash or on credit. Customer name is given, means we should remember customer's name. We should record in the books that customer is liable to us, means this sale is a credit sale. So goods are sold on credit. That is the transaction. Now first step is what? Identification of accounts. Observe, from the firm goods are going to Rahim. Customer name is available now, so I wrote that customer name here. And on that day when we sold, 7th, on 7th date no cash is coming from Rahim. Okay, only goods are going. Then how to pick the accounts? This transaction contains two accounts. First account is Rahim account. Customer's name, we are taking customer's name because we want to remember his name, because he is liable to us. So Rahim account is one account and goods are going, therefore goods account is another account. Then second step, grouping. With the person name, if you open any account, that account comes under a personal account. So Rahim account is a personal account. Goods is one asset, no? So asset comes under real account. Goods account is a real account. Then apply the double entry principles. Personal account principle, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Here Rahim is receiving goods. Rahim is a receiver, therefore debit him. And from the firm goods are going, no? So real account rule, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. As goods are going, credit goods account. When goods come in credit, instead of that we should write transaction name, no? Which transaction this is? Sales transaction. Therefore write down sales account and don't change this name. Once you recollect our first transaction, Anil commenced business with 75,000. Instead of writing Anil name, we wrote capital word. We changed that name because Anil is owner. Owner name we should not record in the books. But Rahim is not an owner. He is a customer. We have to record his name. Now final entry is Rahim account debtor to sales account. Narration, being goods are sold on credit. Next transaction is on 8th date. Sale of goods. Same transaction already we have completed. Therefore, instead of writing on the board, I will explain it directly. Sale of goods. We sold goods. So goods are sold and customer name is not given, means it is cash sale. So cash is coming, goods are going. Cash, goods, both are real accounts now. Real account rule we should apply. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is coming, goods are going. So cash account debtor to goods account. When goods come in credit, instead of goods we should write sales. So final entry is cash account debtor to sales account. For 8th day transaction, this is the journal entry. Next come to 9th day transaction. 9th day transaction is wages paid 5,000 rupees. Firm paid wages to workers. Firm pays salaries to employees and wages to workers. From the firm, cash is going. He need not to explain that. Cash paid towards wages. Cash only we pay. Therefore, cash is going from the firm. For this transaction, we should write the journal entry now. First step is identification of accounts. First account is very clear. From the firm, cash is going. Therefore, cash account is one account. Now, you will get doubt whether to write a worker's name or expenditure name. To the firm, wage, salary, rent, advertisement, electricity bill, postage, stationery, all these are expenses. So expenditure name we should write or person name we should write? That is a doubt. Now you may tell, sir, in question person name is not there. Therefore, we can take expenditure name. Sometimes to confuse you, he may give person name also. Wages paid to Ramana. Then what will you do? Wages we should take or Ramana name we should take? In case of expenditure, you need not to consider the person name. Same rule is applicable for income also. Only two things we need. What we paid? Cash we paid. Towards which expenditure we paid that cash? Towards rent, advertisement, wage, salary, that we need. So expenditure name only we should take as an account. Don't take person name even though it is given in the question. Why? Because take a big concern, Tata company. In Tata company, assume 10 lakh workers are working. Can you write all those names? To all we pay salary on the same day. You cannot write all those employees or workers names in the books, no. And it is meaningless, not necessary also. Owner wants to know only one thing. Towards salary, total expenditure is how much? He is not interested in knowing to whom we paid salary. He knows very well that to all employees, to all workers, he has to pay the salary or wage. Therefore, person name is immaterial in case of expenditure. For example, you went to vegetable market and you purchased some vegetables. Some people maintain a record for household expenses. How you are going to write that in your books? Vegetables 300 rupees. But you are not going to write the seller's name, no. When you are buying vegetables, do you ask the seller's name? Why? Not necessary. So two accounts are wages account and cash account. To the firm, wage is an expenditure. Don't think from worker's point of view, because you are not an accountant of worker. You are an accountant of firm, no? So to the firm, wage is an expenditure. Expenses come under nominal account. Nominal account rule: debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. As wage is an expenditure, we should debit it. Then cash is going now. Cash account is a real account because cash is an asset. Real account rule: debit what comes in, credit what goes out. From the firm, cash is going. Therefore, credit cash account. Here, you need not to change any word. When owner name is coming, we are changing that name. We are writing capital. When goods are coming, if goods come in debit, we are writing purchase word. If goods come in credit, we are writing sales word. But here, don't change any account name. Write down as it is. So what is the entry? Wages account debtor to cash account. Remember, for any expenditure, in the same manner you should analyze. For example, advertisement expenditure paid. Entry is advertisement account debtor or advertisement expenses account debtor to cash account. Rent paid, rent account debtor to cash account. Salaries paid, salary account debtor to cash account. So expenditure name we should debit and we should credit cash account. 10th day transaction is cash deposited into bank 8,000 rupees. Nowadays, business people maintain bank accounts. Maintaining a bank account became common for a businessman. They maintain current accounts. So between bank and firm, there will be number of transactions. Here, the transaction is we deposited money into our bank account. So from the firm, cash is going to the bank. This is the transaction. Now two accounts we have to pick now. First account is to whom we paid money? To banker. Therefore, bank account is one account. Sir, money is deposited in our account only, no? We are not paying to banker, no? Here actual meaning is our bank balance increased. That we are writing. Next, from the firm, cash is going. So cash account is another account. Now very important point is, you may think that bank account is a real account because bank balance means property, asset. So all assets come under real account. So bank account is a real account. Generally students think in that manner. But bank means one bank name, no. We don't open bank account. In question he has given bank word because you are a student. When you are really working in any organization, you are not going to open an account with this word. You are going to write that bank name. For example, SBI account. If any account is opened with one organization name, that account comes under a personal account now. Person names and firm names. Andhra Bank is one firm. State Bank of India is one firm. So, with a firm name we opened account. Here this bank word doesn't indicate bank balance. This word indicates the name of the bank. Therefore, it is not a real account, it is a personal account. Then cash, asset, therefore real account. Now apply the double entry principles. Personal account principle, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Here banker is a receiver, no? Therefore debit bank account. And real account rule, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is going from the firm, so credit cash account. Now no need to change any account name, as it is you can write. So entry will be bank account debtor to cash account. Narration is being cash is deposited into bank. 13th day transaction is cash paid to Mahesh 6,000 rupees. Firm paid cash to Mahesh. From the firm, cash is going. Observe some important points. First point is, he is not giving any expenditure name here. If he gives salaries paid to Mahesh, Then salary is an expenditure now. In case of expenditure, we don't consider person name. Expenditure name we should debit and cash we should credit. Second important point is observe any sales or purchases information is given in the question. No. If goods are sold to Mahesh on credit or if goods are purchased from Mahesh on credit, then in another manner we have to deal with this account. So in this transaction, expenditure name is not available. It is not a sales transaction. It is not a purchase transaction. It is not an income transaction also. Then the question is, why we are paying money to Mahesh? Is it a social service? No, because by seeing the sentence, it is not looking like a social service activity. Donated 6,000 rupees from the business to Mahesh. Question is not given in that manner, no? Charities to Mahesh 6,000. It is not given like that, no? So you should understand that Mahesh is a supplier. On 13th we are paying 6,000 to him because before this date we purchased goods from Mahesh on credit. Goods value 6,000 rupees. We have to pay 6,000 rupees to Mahesh now. On 13th date we are settling his account. That is the meaning of this transaction. Therefore, we should consider person's name. Why? Because when we purchased goods from Mahesh, on that day we considered his name because it is a credit transaction. Now we are paying that amount to him. So compulsory we should consider his name? No. Otherwise, again you will pay to him. So this is not a purchase transaction. It is not a sales transaction. No expenditure, no income. Which transaction is this? It comes under settlement transaction. We are settling his account. Clear? In case of settlements, we should consider person name as an account. Take another example. Cash received from Mahesh. This is also settlement transaction. We sold goods to Mahesh on credit. Mahesh is a customer. Today he is paying that amount to us. So cash paid to Mahesh, cash received from Mahesh, these are settlement transactions and we should consider the person name. There are two accounts now, Mahesh account, cash account. Mahesh, person name. With the person name we opened this account, therefore it is a personal account. And cash is an asset, so it is a real account. Personal account rule, debit the receiver, credit the giver. We are giving money to him. Mahesh is a receiver, therefore debit him. Cash, real account rule, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is going, so credit it. Now don't change this name. Don't write capital drawings because Mahesh is not the owner. So entry is Mahesh account debtor to cash account. Narration being cash paid to Mahesh. 15th date transaction is machinery purchased for cash 12,000 rupees. See, this is purchase transaction. When purchase transaction is given, you should observe what they are buying. Fixed asset name is given, no? Machinery. And second point is how they are buying. Observe, machinery purchased for cash. It is clearly stated that it is a cash purchase. So fixed asset is purchased for cash. This is a transaction. Now to the firm, what is coming? Machinery from a seller, and immediately we paid cash to the seller. As this is cash transaction, you need not to consider that missionary seller's name. It is not given in the question. Even though he gives, you can ignore that. Now, two accounts are missionary account and cash account. Both are assets, therefore both come under real accounts. Real account rule, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Missionary is coming, cash is going. So final entry is missionary account debtor to cash account, being fixed asset is purchased for cash. 18th date transaction is purchased goods from Anita 5,000 rupees. This is purchase transaction. 2 points you have to observe. First point, what they have purchased. Observe, purchased goods. Clearly he has stated that goods are purchased. Second point, how they purchased. As supplier name is given, it is a credit purchase. We want to remember her name because in future we have to pay this 5,000 rupees to her. Credit purchase of goods is a transaction. Now from Anita we are purchasing goods. So what are coming to us? Goods. And as this is credit purchase, on 18th day from the firm nothing is going to Anita. So two accounts we have to pick now. Goods are coming, therefore goods account is one account, and from Anita we are receiving those goods, therefore Anita account is another account. Why I am considering person name here? Because it is a credit purchase transaction. In case of credit purchase transaction or credit sale transaction, we should consider the person name. In case of settlement transactions, cash paid to Anita, cash received from Anita, we should consider person name. In case of expenditure transactions, salaries paid to Anita. In case of income transactions, commission received from Anita, we should not consider person name. If owner is involved in the transaction, we should not write owner name in the books. Instead of that, we should write either capital or drawings word. Now, two accounts we have, goods account, Anita account. Goods is an asset, therefore it comes under real account. Anita account is a personal account. Real account rule, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Goods are coming now, debit them. And personal account rule, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Here Anita is giving goods to us, she is a giver, therefore credit her. Now goods are coming in debit. So instead of writing goods word, we should write transaction name. Transaction is purchase transaction. Therefore write down purchases account. So final entry is purchases account debtor to Anita account, being goods are purchased on credit. 20th date, cash received from Ramya 3,000 rupees. This is again settlement transaction. No? Why Ramya is paying cash to us? Because before this date we sold goods to Ramya on credit. She is liable to us. On 20th date she is paying that amount to us. So cash is coming from Ramya. Here we can take person name as an account because it is not an income transaction, it is not an expenditure transaction, it is not a sales transaction or purchase transaction. In case of settlement transactions, we can take the person name as an account. So two accounts we have. Cash is an asset, no, it is a real account. Ramya account is a personal account. Real account rule. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is coming, so debit cash account. Personal account rule. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Here Ramya is a giver now, therefore credit her. Final entry is cash account debtor to Ramya account, being cash is received from Ramya is the narration. Next transaction is on 22nd. Paid commission. Recollect 9th day transaction, paid wages. Here paid commission. In both cases he is giving expenditure related transaction. So for expenditure, what I said, expenditure name is one account. As cash is going from the firm, cash account is another account. Here expenditure name is commission account. It is a nominal account. As per nominal account, expenses are to be debited. So commission account we should debit, and as cash is going from the firm, we should credit cash account. Final entry is commission account debtor to cash account, being commission is paid. In case of expenses, expenditure name should be debited and cash should be credited. Next transaction is also related to expenditure. Paid for postage and stationery. When we are running any business, we have to communicate with other parties now, with our customers, with our suppliers, with the government. Sometimes we may send letters to them. During that process, we may incur postage expenditure. Similarly, stationery. When we are running business, to maintain accounts, we need some stationery items. Books, pencil, calculator. We purchase those stationery items. So postage and stationery is one expenditure, just like salaries, wages, commission. In case of expenditure, how to write the journal entry? Expenditure name is to be debited now. Therefore, final entry is postage and stationery account debtor to cash account, being postage and stationery expenditure is paid. 27th day transaction is cash drawn from bank for personal use 7,000 rupees. Drawn means withdrawing, taking. Firm is maintaining a bank account, and from the bank amount is taken for personal use. Now tell me, who can take the money from bank or from business for personal use? Can employee take that amount? No. Can labor take the amount for personal use? No. Supplier, customer cannot take. Only one person is having the right to take the money from bank account or firm for personal use. That is owner. Owner name is Anil, no. So from the bank, owner took some amount for his personal use, for a household purpose, for domestic use. Owner withdrew some amount from the bank. This is a transaction. Now first doubt is, when transaction is between banker and Anil, why in firm books we should write the journal entry? Answer is, transaction is between bank and Anil, no doubt in that. But this bank account is not Anil's personal bank account. It is the current account of business. No proper information is given here now. If Anil takes money from his personal savings bank account, then it is not our business transaction. We need not to write the journal entry. But there is no information in that manner. So this transaction gives the meaning that this is the current account of our business. So from business account, we should take money for business purpose. Then cash comes to the firm. But from the business account, owner withdrew some amount for his personal use. As this is our business account, this transaction belongs to firm. Therefore, we should record the transaction in our books. And what are the two accounts here? Cash is not coming to us. Therefore, don't write cash account. Cash is going to Anil, no? So, Anil account is one account and the bank is giving that money. Therefore, bank account is another account. Here, Anil account with a person name we opened account. It is a personal account. And bank account. Bank means actually one bank name, no? So SBI account, Andhra Bank account, ICICI account. With the institution name, if you open any account, that is also a personal account, no? So bank account is also a personal account. Both are personal accounts. Personal account rule: debit the receiver, credit the giver. Anil is a receiver, debit his account. Banker is a giver, credit bank account. Now, owner's name we should not write in the books, no? When owner name comes in credit, instead of owner name, we should write capital account. Recollect our first transaction. Anil commenced business with 75,000. There Anil came in credit. So we wrote capital word. But here Anil account is debited. When owner name comes in debit, instead of writing the owner name, we should write drawings. So final entry is drawings account debtor to bank account. Being cash is withdrawn from bank for personal use. Last transaction, 30th date transaction is received rent 1200 rupees. Assume that in owner's own building, he has given one shop to outsider on rental basis. Remaining building is used by the owner Anil for his business, and a small portion of that building is given to other person on rental basis. Tenant has given rent to us. So from tenant cash is coming. This is income. In case of income, we should not consider the person name. Like expenditure, in case of incomes also don't consider person names. We should consider cash and the name of the income. Here income is received towards rent, no? Therefore cash account and rent received account are the two accounts. Cash is a real account, rent received, income. With the income name, if you open any account, that account comes under a nominal account. So it is a nominal account. Now real account rule: debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is coming now, debit it. And nominal account rule: debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Income we should credit. Therefore credit rent received account. It is better to add received word when you are indicating that one account is an income. If you write simply rent account, it may give the meaning that we are treating that as an expenditure. So better to write rent received account, because for expenditure we are writing rent account. No? Narration is being rent is received. So this is all about your first problem in journal lesson. Hope this video is useful to you. Thank you.